Hello and welcome to Zaragoza Cardenales. My name is Paula Zaragoza Cardenales, and in Tales of an Entrepreneur, today we're going to talk about time management. What if I told you that long time ago in a galaxy far away, I wasn't the best at time management? Surprise, surprise. I was, quite frankly, in high school, terrible at time management, and I needed some help. The best solution was that my parents gifted me Harvard Business Review time management book, the best book ever. Why did they give that to a teenager? Because I've been adulting ever since I have a memory, and I'm naturally born an entrepreneur. So my dad had a subscription to Harvard Business Review and gave me that book. Best book ever. So in this book, it talks about prioritizing your task, but in your own style. It gives you and describes different styles of time management, from time blocking to smart goals to getting things done to pomodoro to Notion, to what was known then as Notion, the app now known as Notion, and other things such as avoiding multitasking, blocking your phone, etc. But what works for you works for you. Don't give in to peer pressure of, oh, I'm going to do the Notion method because that's what everyone's doing, and then be frustrated because it's not working for you. And you end up in a worse situation that you were then from before you started. If it, for instance, Pomodoro works for you, that's great. In my case, Pomodoro is a horrible method and I would not use it ever. Believe me, I've tried it. But what works for me is a Kanban or getting things done and having a calendar and reminders everywhere. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. Even the most simplest of things, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. Other things that I might recommend it to you if it works. If it works, if it doesn't work, then try something else. That's the whole fun of a time management. What I did was literally timing myself on different activities because different activities require different energies and effort from you. So, for instance, I could read 10 pages in 1 hour. But for writing, I could do much more than 10 pages in an hour. So I wouldn't be allotting the same time for those activities. I would be like, oh, today I have to do a ton of reading and it's 40 pages. Then I have to mentally prepare myself for 4 hours. When it was writing, it was a whole nother ball game of 4 hours. It gives me plenty to work out long essay, let's say, and revise it and have it done. And that helped me a lot with the time management thing. Also, if you have other people involved, delegate when possible. If you are with yourself, a me, myself, and I situation, then you can use automatization tools such as if triple T or Zapier that help you work through mundane tasks that can be delegated, quote unquote. So if you want to get rid of newsletters or emails that you don't want to read, then you can program that to do that. And you can send yourself emails to those tools and apps to task and schedule. In my case, I use a client management software called Clio, not sponsored. I wish it were, but it works great for me because it does everything. I don't have to be jumping around from tool to tool. That's another thing that I have to point out. Some people work really well with different tools. I need something that can do everything because it's too distracting if I have to manage five different tools for different things. Why can't you do all of the things? Another thing that might be harder is avoiding multitasking. How I do this is that I trick myself into focusing on one task by blocking all other things that might distract me, such as social media and even family members. And even if it's an emergency, the phone will ring. If it's like three times that you call me, it will ring. So, and I use noise canceling headphones. And that way I can focus on one task. And since I already um, found what to prioritize in, I can do that and then focus on the other things. And that may be harder depending on the industry. For instance, on more governmental tasks, I found that you are doing multiple things at the same time. But I've also encountered private organizations where you're doing multiple things at the same time. And you have to kind of get used to changing channels. And what I've done is I always leave a notepad or an iPad or even my a notes app in my computer open. So if that changing channels happens, I don't forget what I'm doing. So let's say that I'm working on something, someone interrupts me, and I say, "Oh, give me a second. Let me write that down so I don't forget and I have to ask you again what is it what you want from me?" And I also write down what I'm doing. And that way I can continue on with my life and I'll get to what you want when I finish said task, because you just entered the room and interrupted me. You have to wait. Also, other things are trying to establish a routine, and this is on the harder things where it will take you years to develop said routine. But I do have a routine where I wake up, I have breakfast, I walk my dog, I go to the gym, and I take a bath and get dressed. But that might not work for you because you're not a morning person. I'm not going to be here and obligate you to be something that you're not. If you're a night owl, be a night owl. If the same routine that I described to you works for you in the midnight, then go ahead. It's what is more efficient to you. Other things that might be harder is procrastinating. Procrastination is not it's not something bad. It is, I repeat, it is not bad. It is your body telling you that you are tired and burnt out and overworked. What do? Stand up from your chair, take a walk, get some fresh air, and get back to work. Why? Because it resets you. With the problem with procrastination, it's when it turns to this thing where you're worrying because you're not getting anything done, and you're not getting that thing done in a large time span. So you leave things at the last minute, and you not only get that one thing at the last minute, there's multiple things at the last minute. That's where it will be harmful to you because it will lead to burnout and not doing things really well. So in that case, just block all of the iPhone or Samsung apps, put on your headphones or your motivate you, trick you. You're tricking yourself into getting that work done. What I do to trick myself into getting a complex task done is starting off with the simple things. And that gets me really motivated because it's like, oh my God, look at me and doing all these things and all the progress that I made. I'm only managing the simple things, I'm leaving the complex things for last. And when I get to the complex things, they aren't that complex because you've managed all of the other things. Other tricks are managing what people call quote unquote time wasters, the handheld devices, the emails, the unexpected visitors, the in person and virtual meetings, and family is essential because you have to balance between work and family, and also having a healthy relationship of having something to relax. But when I say family, is being synced and organized on who's doing what, and that way you can know what to focus on. For instance, me and my mom share calendars, and she knows what meetings I have and where I am, and I know what meetings she has and where she is. And that way we can know if we arrive at home at the same time. That way we can plan dinner, we can plan sorts of things during the weekend, and that way we don't clash and it's more harmonious. With other family members, uh, if you have to cut them off, really just do it. I know it sounds harsh. I know it sounds egotistical and maybe narcissistic, but if they're annoying, maybe you should consider cutting them off of being just like, I'm just gonna see you in the weekends because you're too distracting. I am sorry. um with staying healthy, I what I mean is doing something that you enjoy. If that is playing video games, if that is going to the gym, if that is meditating, if that is going out for a walk, if that is hitting the gym really hard with weightlifting, if that is just lounging around with your dog or cat watching Netflix or silly videos on YouTube, that is what you consider staying healthy. If that is girl dinner, do that. Do that. Because that is what will reset and recharge you. It is not what society or what other people deem as healthy. It's what you deem as healthy. Other tips might be finding out with what makes you waste the most time and establishing rules, protocols, or even a document of procedures for you yourself. You don't need a team for this document, or a notepad or anything, and that might work for you, but that way you're a lot more efficient and do things with more quality. With that, I would recommend to review and reflect on your work regularly, at least once a month. Say, like, these things could be more efficient. Let me find a tool, an automation tool, or let me change my time management software or app because it's not working for me. I tried them all from Trello, Asana, um, uh, Microsoft To Do, Microsoft Planner, Google Tasks, so you name it. I tried it, and I've stuck with Clio management because it's the one that works for me. Because the other tools make me use other tools to complement that tool, and Clio management is just a one everything's there, and I don't have to go anywhere else. With other things, for instance, it's that I don't use pomodoro. I tested out pomodoro, and it's extremely distracting for me. I use Kanban or getting things done, and my calendar for reminders. I know what to do during the day and my priorities, and focusing on what I'll do in the day, what I'll do in the week, and what I'll do in the month makes it a lot easier. And this is not something that you're gonna magically learn to do in a day or in a week or in a year. This is a lifelong process where every year There's gonna be ups and downs, and if you change jobs, if you change lifestyles, if you change your routines, or you have, for instance, a dog or a new family member. Let's say you get a boyfriend, girlfriend, or partner, or you have a baby, perhaps that will change your time management. And you'll have to do this whole reevaluation, reflecting process. Um, But that basically is the gist of time management. It's whatever works for you, and it's a trial and error. But really, I do recommend the Harvard Business Review time management book. It's an oldie but a goodie. And there's other books out there, but that's basically the best one. And with that, what tips help you out? What did I left out? I would love hearing that in the comments, or on social media, where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify with my two last names, Zaragoza Cardenales. I hope you liked this podcast. If you liked it, hit subscribe, like, follow. All of the buttons are good. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.